my amigos. Welcome one, welcome all. Now give me an amen. How about a hallelujah to get started? Yeah, hallelujah. Say it however you want. Amen. It's time for liftoff.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
Show
5,
with no
4,
name.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Come on.
Ignition. Liftoff. Liftoff. 30 minutes after the hour.
Go, 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 go. Come on. Get on. Get it ready. Hold on to your hats. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your and hats. Get ready for the ride of your life. The show with no name. All aboard. On Vaughn Radio. It's a show with no name. Let's go. That's right, amigos. Welcome one, welcome all. It is time for another exciting edition of The Show with No Name here on Vaughn Radio. And thank you. Thank you to all of us who join us every day, every week, every month, year after year. I wouldn't be sitting here right now if it weren't for you. Vamos con el presente condicional. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right now if it weren't for you guys tuning in, enjoying the show, and most of all, getting it, pillando, captando lo que venimos a hacer. And don't forget, you've got a lot of other amazing programs on Vaughn Radio all day long. Each one is special and unique in its own way. From the Probo Show with Rob Grams to No Excuses with Fitz, to our latest show, Speaking with Confidence, hosted by Gretchen. We heard a little excerpt of that on the show yesterday. But remember, if you've got the Vaughn Radio app, well, just stay tuned right after this show, and you can hear our latest, greatest show. Again, it's called Speaking with Confidence. It's hosted by Gretchen. And if you can't tune in live on the Vaughn Radio app, don't worry. You can download it on your favorite podcast platform. All your favorite shows here on Vaughn Radio. Hell yeah. Hell yes, claro que sí.
¿Te gustaría abrir puertas a nuevas oportunidades y estar listo para cualquier desafío? Con el máster de inglés del Grupo Vaughan podrás transformar tu futuro. Este programa intensivo te ayudará a dominar el inglés profesional, perfeccionar tu comunicación y ganar la confianza que necesitas para conseguir tus objetivos. Nuestros profesores Vaughan especializados te prepararán para afrontar en inglés todas las situaciones de comunicación en un entorno profesional. No dejes que el inglés sea una barrera. Invierte en tu futuro con el máster de inglés profesional del Grupo Vaughan. Llámanos al 91-133-5833 o entra en grupovaughan.com.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. As I said before, you know another way you can say it? All right. Cover your ears, kids. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. I think the equivalent would be claro que sí. All right, folks, let's kick off with today's pop quiz.
Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yeah.
Hands up. That's right, amigos. It is our pop quiz here on the show with no name. And today we're going to be taking a look at a material. It's called Aprende Inglés desde cero. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, I don't have to. I've got a pretty decent level. Yeah, but then you should know everything in this book inside and out. So we're going to find that out in just a moment when we hear a little audio excerpt. But you've got grammar, vocab, pronunciation, common mistakes, totally native idiomatic expressions that we love. And it's got, are you ready for this? A whopping 7 hours of audio. 7 hours of audio. And it's like a complete course. In fact, it's called Aprende Inglés desde cero. Curso de Inglés para principiantes. And again, as I always say, when we look at material para, and I use it in air quotes, principiantes, it's the stuff that everybody needs to know. So you might know fewer phrasal verbs than someone else, but you need to know the basics. And a lot of times, as I always tell you, when this kind of thing comes up, I see a lot of students who are using some really nice idiomatic expressions, but then they get the wrong form of the verb, the verb to be, or the grammar is wrong, a simple grammar mistake. So these are the kind of mistakes you want to make sure you're not making. As always, we're going to listen to a little excerpt. I will have some questions for you afterwards. But remember, you can pick this book up, Aprende Inglés desde cero. You can pick it up at the Feria del Libro. We'll be there all weekend, next week, and the following weekend. So it ends, let me check my calendar here. So it ends on the 15th of June. June 15th, 2025 is the last day to make the most of this year's book fair. You can go during the week, midweek, on a weekday. You can do weekends, but no matter what time you go, if you go to stand 309, you'll get a 10% discount on any materials you may purchase. So make the most of it, especially if you live in Madrid. It's an opportunity to go over to the beautiful Retiro Park. Also an opportunity to take a stroll to see what's going on in the literary world. And aside from just books, if you guys have been, many of you have been to the book fair, there are tons of other activities. There are puppet shows for the kids, marionetas. There are live radio shows a lot of times. So there's so much more than just, people signing books and buying books. It's a whole celebration of storytelling, right? In general, de contar cuentos, and how storytelling is radio, it's movies, it's podcast. Sure, the original stories were told verbally, then they were written down, then we got our books, our novels, and obviously our fairy tales, nuestros cuentos de hada, that are pretty universal. So my amigos, everybody listen carefully, and as always, I will have some questions for you. Well, that's why it's called the Pop Quiz. This is Inglés desde cero. Aprende Inglés desde cero, available at vontienda.com.
7.4 Key verb. To take.
Cojo, tomo, llevo.
I take.
¿Coges? ¿Tomas? ¿Llevas?
You take.
Coge, toma, lleva.
He, she, it takes.
¿Cogemos? ¿Tomamos? ¿Llevamos?
We take.
¿Cogéis? ¿Tomáis? ¿Lleváis?
You take.
Cogen, toman, llevan.
They take.
Cojo el autobús todos los días.
I take the bus every day.
Mi hermano no coge el autobús, coge el tren.
My brother doesn't take the bus. He takes the train.
Toma esto, es para ti.
Take this. It's for you.
Coge el dinero, es tuyo.
Take the money. It's yours.
Por favor, coge un taxi, no vayas andando allí.
Please take a taxi. Don't walk there.
¿Cómo vas al trabajo? Cojo el tren.
How do you go to work? I take the train.
No tomes drogas.
Don't take drugs.
¿Él toma drogas? No, no toma drogas.
Does he take drugs? No, he doesn't take drugs.
Estoy tomando una aspirina.
I'm taking an aspirin.
Él no está tomando drogas.
He's not taking drugs.
Ella está tomando medicinas en este momento.
She's taking medicine at the moment.
Mi padre me lleva al colegio todos los días.
My father takes me to school every day.
Lleva esto a correos, por favor.
Take this to the post office, please. 7.5. Pronunciation. Usually.
Usually.
Say that again?
Usually.
No, it's usually.
Normalmente estoy en casa los sábados.
I'm usually at home on Saturdays.
Suelo estar cansado después del trabajo.
I'm usually tired after work.
Suelo ir al trabajo a las 8.
I usually go to work at 8 o'clock.
Normalmente cojo el autobús.
I usually take the bus.
La gente joven normalmente vive con sus padres.
Young people usually live with their parents.
¿A dónde vais de vacaciones normalmente? Solemos ir al sur de Italia.
Where do you usually go on holiday? We usually go to the south of Italy.
Los niños suelen jugar al fútbol los viernes.
The kids usually play football on Fridays.
No suelo pensar en el trabajo.
I don't usually think about work.
No solemos trabajar los domingos.
We don't usually work on Sundays.
Normalmente no me gustan los perros.
I don't usually like dogs. 7.6. Grammar. To have plus food and drink.
Desayunar.
To have breakfast.
Comer.
To have lunch.
Cenar.
To have dinner.
Tomar un café.
To have a coffee.
Tomar un té.
To have a cup of tea.
Tomar algo de beber.
To have a drink.
Tomar un tentempié.
To have a snack.
Tomar una cerveza.
To have a beer.
Normalmente desayuno a las 7.
I usually have breakfast at 7 a.m.
¿A qué hora come él? Suele comer a las 2.
What time does he have lunch? He usually has lunch at 2 p.m.
Vamos a tomar algo esta noche.
We're having drinks tonight.
Están comiendo.
They're having lunch.
Normalmente tomamos una cerveza después del trabajo.
We usually have a beer after work.
Suelo tomar 2 cafés por la mañana.
I usually have 2 coffees in the morning.
Mi madre suele tomarse un té por la mañana.
My mother usually has a cup of tea in the morning.
Solemos cenar a las 7:30.
We usually have dinner at 7:30.
Mi abuela suele comer a la 1.
My grandmother usually has lunch at 1 o'clock.
¿Qué estás haciendo? Estoy desayunando.
What are you doing? I'm having breakfast.
Listen carefully. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Vaughan Town, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughan Town, lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to grupovaughan.com or give us a call, 911-385831. Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughan Town.
More information about Vaughan Town, summer camps, one-to-one classes, group classes, whatever your needs may be, you can go to grupovaughan.com. Also, if you're following us on social media, then you'll also know about all our upcoming events. You can get book fair information plus content. But I will tell you this. I got an email this morning from Vaughan, and it's interesting because I get both emails. I get the employee emails, and I get the newsletter emails because I subscribe to the newsletter. So I'm as I always tell you, it's a way to stay in the loop, mantenerte al tanto al día. And I've got to say, there's one thing that, and this always happens, but our spots for the summer camps are filling up really quickly. So don't put it off till the last minute. To put it off, creo del contexto queda claro que estoy diciendo, no lo aplaces. Don't put it off. Don't procrastinate. If you want to send the kiddos to summer camp, whether it's day camp, you call them camp urbanos, we call them day camps in English because you go for the day. You don't spend the night. And then we have camps where you go away. So whatever you're looking for, whatever your needs may be, you can drop us a line. You can even stop by in person. If you live in Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao, Vigo, Valladolid, Valencia, Santander, and or Zaragoza. And you know what? I didn't choose this. I don't choose where we set up offices, donde ponemos delegaciones, but these are some really amazing places. I mean, there's not one on that list where I'm like, no me gustó cuando fui. Like, I've been to all of these cities. Madrid, I live in Madrid. Well, I live in a town in Madrid. I don't live in the city center anymore. I'm getting old. Barcelona, what can you say? Barcelona's a million different things, right? It's just so big, so diverse. I've gone to Barcelona probably 10, 20, 30 times. I've lost count. And every time it's been different. One time I went to a Kiss concert. Another time I went there to work. Another time I went there to catch a cruise, un crucero. So Barcelona's it's a lot of different things. Other times I went there to go to Salou. Salou is where you'll find Portaventura, which is one of the questions in our trivia night this past week. I said, where is Portaventura located? And I said, no vale Catalunya, no vale Barcelona, because it's not. It's another town. It's Salou. All right. So let's take a look. I'm going to take a look. And we were just looking at that word, take, have, right? Tomar medicina. These are probably two of the most used words in any language. I mean, take in English, okay, tomar, tardar, it takes 20 minutes, right? I can't take it, no lo soporto, no lo aguanto. I'm going to take a taxi. You heard all the different forms there. And I'm telling you, you need to know verbs like take and have inside out. You need to know them perfectly. Let's just take a look at, mira, sin querer, ¿ves? Echar un vistazo. Let's take a look at some other uses of the verb take. And we can do this with have as well. But let's just look at take. A couple ones that you'll use, a couple collocations. Collocations are, palabras que suelen ir juntas, no? Like a phrasal verb kind of idea. Take it easy. What does it mean? I know you know that one. Tranquilo. Take it easy. Don't stress. You've been stressing out. Take it easy. Take a break, right? Take 5. Take 5, aunque no sean 5 minutos, is another way to say take a break. A little bit different than take your time or take advantage of. So, lo bueno, si tú sabes que es take, took, taken, pues no solo sabes coger, sabes usarlo en todas estas, right? En todos los usos que le damos. So to take advantage of, I know you know that one. Cuidado no es advantage, it's age. Take advantage of. Y siempre cuando explico lo comparo con to make the most of. Significan lo mismo. The difference, if you make the most of something, siempre es positivo. Take advantage of, depende. Tienes que escuchar. So, it's not good, man. He's always taking advantage of his mother. That's not good. That's not a good thing. He takes advantage of his client. Oh, it's not good, right? So if you want to always use the positive one, we say make the most of. Now, here's the other one. We don't make the most of people so much as situations. So also take advantage of is the one we would use mostly when we're talking about people and usually in a negative way. Okay, as you know, in Spanish too, aprovecha. Siempre te estás aprovechando de la gente, right? Again, it depends on the usage you give it. What about to take part? To take part is participar. He took part in the school play. and he takes after his father. Remember this one? We've looked at this one. Well, his father was an actor, so he takes after his father, right? He's similar to, and this can be both. This can be physically, or this can be as far as personality is concerned. What about to take something for granted? Se usa siempre. To take something or someone for granted. It means you're not realizing how you're not appreciating, you're not realizing how important or how good this thing or person is. So, if you take something for granted or someone for granted and then they're not there, well, usually you end up feeling regret, right? Regret. What about to take a rain check? I know we've looked at this one. This is, I can't come tonight. I can't make it to your party. Can I take a rain check? O sea, podemos dejarlo, posponerlo. It comes from, in baseball, they would give you a rain check when it rained, right? And then you would come back and you could use that voucher, ese vale, for another day. What about to take something personally? You say the same thing. No te lo tomes personal. Well, that one, a veces es igual, right? Cuánto se tarda, no, porque no es cuánto se toma, es cuánto se tarda. What about to take a stand? I know we've looked at this one and pretty recently. Man, you got to take a stand, right? You got to stand up for yourself, all right? You got to take the bull by the horns. And one of my favorite ones, when you're negotiating. This is my final offer. Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it es, ahí lo tienes. Es, no recibes, right? You're not going to get another chance. So don't take a chance on. There's another one. Take a chance. Take a chance on me. Take a chance on me. All right. Well, let's see how well you guys know how to use take and have. All right. The first one in today's pop quiz, again, it's coming from Aprende Inglés desde cero. And the first one is vamos a tomar algo o picotear algo. Now, let me be clear. It's not we're going to. Estás sugiriendo. Es una sugerencia. Okay? So, ¿vamos a tomar algo? No vamos a tomar algo. Okay? So, no quiero we're going to. Quiero la sugerencia. Okay? Que es algo básico, se supone, en el idioma. Y hay varias formas. Okay? So, I think you would say, tomemos algo. Picoteamos algo, right? It's the suggestion one. Vamos a tomar algo, vamos a picotear algo, sin usar el going to. Quiero la otra estructura. And there are a couple ways to say tomar algo, picotear algo. So we'll see what you guys come up with. The next one, we talked about medicine in there. They were talking about aspirina. All right, well, this is something, I think this is a sentence that everybody has said at some point in their life. A ver si sabes decirlo. Creo que es básico, veremos. Estoy tomando jarabe de tos. O sea, que tienes tos, right? Y la frase sería, estoy tomando jarabe de tos. And the last one, y otra vez estamos jugando con el have, el take. ¿Qué cenaste anoche? Now, I don't want you to ask me the question. I want you to answer it in English. Okay, si no te acuerdas, invéntatelo, make it up. So, ¿qué cenaste? Pero dímelo en inglés. Cené tal, tal y tal. All right? So you've got 3 challenges. I'm looking for specific things, as always. And today, as we said, we're going back to basics, but it's just more reason you need to know it. All right, so number 1, tomemos algo. Vamos a tomar algo. ¿Picoteamos algo? Right? Es la sugerencia. Number 2, estoy tomando jarabe de tos. And the last one, answer the question, obviously in English. ¿Qué cenaste anoche? All right, my amigos, that is, I can't believe it, part 1 of today's show with no name. When we come back, we'll check your answers. I see we've got a lot of participation here, which is awesome. Great to read your names, and we'll check in with all of you in just a moment after this quick commercial break. So, if I were you guys, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. Stick around. amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to part 2 of today's show with No Name on Vaughn Radio. Stay tuned, because after today's show, you can tune in to Gretchen's show, our newest show, and it's called Speaking with Confidence. After that, you've got the lunchtime show with my buds, Rob and Andy. They will guide you through a totally native conversation, right? A bullshit session. What? Bullshit? Tontería? Well, bullshit también es de cháchara. O sea, bullshit es mentir. Are you bullshitting me? Me estás contando historias. But also, if I say, man, we were just bullshitting until 3 o'clock in the morning. It's another way of saying shooting the breeze. Shooting the shit. Estando de cháchara. Sí, disparando la mierda. Por eso no hay que traducir las cosas literalmente. All right, folks, we're going to take a look at our Say What soundbite. We'll check your pop quiz answers. We've got our spelling bee and a nice round of applause for Anix, Chris Valrol, Nuria, open water swimmer, and Elena. They all participated in our question of the week, and we're going to hear from them a little bit later on in the show. So here we go with today's Say What soundbite. Say what? What? Yes. Wow, so many people participating. Awesome show with no namers. That's for you. Not just for today, but for all the effort you put in day after day. Well, that's the idea. If you just do it one day, you're not going to really learn anything. You might learn one or two things, but that's not a way to learn a language. I think it's no secret that, well, the way to learn anything in life is little by little. A little every day goes a long way. You know, some days you can do more, but as long as you keep going, as long as you're consistent, then there's only one way to go, and that's up. All right, amigos. I think, I could be wrong here, but I think today's Say What soundbite is going to be relatively easy. But I'll know as soon as I see how many people are able to figure it out and how many people are able to participate in the first part as well. Because one thing is getting it all, and one thing is understanding the main idea or the point. If you can do both, that's great. All right, here it is for the first time. Is everybody ready? Jot this down.
I watched it organically come to life and fruition from medical books with pictures of burn victims, which I could barely glance at. Mm-hmm. But I saw it in the mirror as we modified it and changed it and finally found Freddie.
All right. That last word should give it away there. All right. Let me give it to you a second time. Again, I think the guy's, enunciating. He's not talking too quickly. And all right, here is your second listen of the Say What soundbite.
I watched it organically come to life and fruition from medical books with pictures of burn victims, which I could barely glance at. Mm-hmm. But I saw it in the mirror as we modified it and changed it and finally found Freddie.
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh, man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh, man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah, wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así de gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damian, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
vaughantienda.com.
It's the shit.
Oh, yeah, this book is the shit. It is my latest book, and it's available at vaughantienda.com. Also, you can pick it up at the book fair. You get a 10% discount if you pick it up at stand 309 during Feria del Libro 2025, and that goes for all our materials, even the one we're looking at today, which is Aprende Inglés desde cero, where we go back to basics, and that's exactly what we aim to do today. All right, let's see who's with us, who's ready to rock and roll. I see a lot of people learning English and having fun with us. This is awesome. Let's see, Mariona, front row center. Ahí la tenemos en primera fila. And she says, hey, the sun is shining. Well, you said shinning. Quítame una N de ahí. Okay, the sun is shining. Your shin is tu espina, esa parte de la pierna que si te dan una patada te duele como si hubieras parido. Well, I can't say that because I don't know that, but it's the closest thing, right? And por hecho en el football, en soccer and football, you have shin guards, porque una buena patada ahí en la espina. Is that what you call espinilla, I think? Vamos a ver, ahora dudo. Shin. In English, it's called shin. So shin, espinilla, canilla. Yeah, that front part of your leg, your lower leg. And anybody who's ever, walked into a table or gotten kicked there, ow, that's deadly. I don't know what I don't know what happens there, but it kills. So just be careful. Shinning would be dándole a alguien ahí, shining. So una N. The sun is shining, weather is sweet. Make you want to move with dancing feet. Marley. And she says, and the mood is the best. No doubt about it, Mariona. She says, best wishes to all Show with No Namers and our super teacher, Double A. Thank you, Mariona. There's Born to Iron Man, rocking and rolling. And he says, morning, folks. Morning to you, Born to Iron Man. Great to have you with us. Ready to rock as always. Open Water says, Morning, friends. Have a good day. You too, Open Waters. Have an awesome day. Elena, there she is. Elena says, good morning, everyone. Strike up the band. Esto es que empieza la orquesta. AA, we're all ears. Toma, totally native. Strike up the band. Que sube la cortina. No, empieza la orquesta. We're all ears. Welcome, Elena. Great to have you on board as always. There's Anix. Anix says, hi there. Get ready for the weekend. I'm always ready, even on Monday. The thing is, the weekend isn't ready for me yet. Get ready for the weekend. And I know what you're saying, Anix. Yeah, I have 2 kids' birthday parties this weekend. Oh, and the Bernabeu. There's a El Partido de los Corazones. It's when the legends come back and play. So we're taking my daughter to the Bernabeu for the first time too. So let's put it this way. I will not be lying around. No estaré tirado por ahí este fin de semana. I'd love to. I'd love to be. You know, that'd be great, but that's not my weekend. So thank you, Anix. She says, I'll be praying for you this weekend. Should I say I'm not religious? Well, it doesn't matter. You just got to have faith here that I survived the weekend. And should I say I'm not religious? Anyway, I'll do my best. Have fun. Well, you know what? You can do what my mother-in-law does. She lights a candle for you. Te pone una vela. Hey, that could work. I'll take anything, guys, as long as you believe, as long as you send your good thoughts and all your strength and energy my way, I will survive the weekend and its high decibel level. Let's see. High decibel and high energy level. There's Chris Valrol, speaking of high octane, and she says, morning, amazing show with no namers. It's great to be here again. But it was even better to be there with all of you and to meet Nuria in the flesh. She's lovely. Yeah, I think that's one of the coolest things about Vaughn Radio is how people are constantly making friends and really, I think that's awesome because you came here to learn English. You didn't, you're leaving with friends every day, and that's awesome. It's a really nice bonus. It's not easy. Is it easy to make friends? I'm a friendly guy. I'm not very shy. And it's not easy for me to make friends. I'm not interviewing for the position right now. Well, as I said, my social life is my daughter's social life right now. And she is quite busy. She doesn't stop, this kid. All right. So great, Grace. Great to have you back in the group. And it was wonderful to see you in person this past week as well. Let's see. Laura says, good morning. Lovely show with no namers. Welcome back to the chat, Grace. It was great to be able to see you and catch up in Madrid. Yeah, no doubt about it. It was a wonderful, magical evening. All right, Elena is participating in today's pop quiz. Let's see what Elena had to say. She says, let's have a bite to eat. I'm ravenous. You get a totally native right there. Let's have a bite to eat. Vamos a picotear algo. A bite to eat. I'm ravenous. Ravenous is another way of saying I'm starving. Muero de hambre. I'm starving. I'm ravenous. Great, Elena. What a great start. The next one. She says, I'm taking a cough syrup. Disgusting. Lo único que no usaría el a. I'm taking cough syrup. Lo mismo. I'm taking aspirin. No estás hablando de una, sino la medicina en general. So I'm taking, unless you're saying, I'm taking a cough syrup, a new one, and I don't really like it, que estás hablando, pero realmente en general, that A is not necessary. So I'm taking cough syrup. Disgusting. Well, I got to say something. I remember when I was a kid, there was a cough syrup that was actually delicious. And I remember I told my mom, I'm like, can I take more? She's like, no, it's only when you're sick. And she's like, wow. But I remember a lot of them were pretty disgusting too. So great examples, Elena. And the last one, she says, I had some salmon. Fíjate, yo no digo la L. I've heard people say salmon, but I've never said it like that. Salmon. I had some salmon and veggies for dinner. Sounds delicious and nutritious. Great job, Elena. What a shining example. All right, the next one. Born to Iron Man says, shall we have a drink? Great. So we've got two ways to say it. Shall we or let's? When you're suggesting, shall we have a drink? Let's have a drink. Now, the only thing here is have a drink no es picotear algo. Eso es beber algo. Okay, so it's correct. Vamos a tomar algo, pero ya te limitas a solo bebidas ahí. Just so you know the difference. So, but you can say, shall we have something? O sea, podéis decir tomar algo. Shall, del contexto se va a saber. Hey, shall we have something? Let's have something. Let's have a bite to eat, como dijo Elena. So great. Just be careful. Drink es tomar algo, pero de bebida nada más. If we want to just say picotear, tomar, like where it's not specified, shall we have something? Okay. Y si estás en la discoteca, shall we take something? Ecstasy? Bueno, como take es medicina, es píldoras. If somebody says, shall we take something in a club? Say no. Say no to drugs. All right, the next one. Born to Iron Man. I'm taking cough syrup. Muy bien. Sin esa A. I'm taking cough syrup. And you gave us the question. It's fine, as long as it's correct. What did you have for dinner last night? I had chicken, roast chicken, and rosemary potatoes. Yeah, potatoes with romero. Oh, that's delicious. And garlic. Oh, yeah. Let's stop talking about food. All right. Also, guys, I wanted to look at some other ailments very quickly. Remember, we've looked at that word before, ailments, males, ailments, things that happen to all of us, right? Like a cough. Who hasn't had a cough? My daughter's got a cough right now. Now, you have two kinds of cough that I know of. Of course, you can get more technical, but you got a dry cough, uno seco, and then you've got a productive cough, we call it. Productive is que sacas los mocos, right? That mucus, that phlegm comes out. And that's what I teach my daughter every day. I'm like, she's like, Daddy, I'm like, let's do a snot rocket. ¿Conocéis un snot rocket? Los futbolistas lo hacen siempre. Es la mejor forma de sacar mocos, eh? You cover one nostril, cubres un agujero de la nariz y soplas and it comes out. Snot rockets. We even have a song, Snot Rockets, when my daughter does it. Hey, it sounds disgusting, but when you can breathe again, it's amazing. You know, another thing too, if you have like a lot of phlegm in your chest, sometimes it's in your head. If it's in your chest, I taught her to clear her throat. And then spit it out, get rid of the phlegm. You need to expel it, right? So that's a cough. We're talking about a cough. That could be a cold, right? You can, and the worst is when you have a cold and a cough all together. No, actually, the worst is the flu. Because the flu, you even get feverish. You have aches and pains, dolores corporales. So, yes, so cold, a common cold. Lo llamamos muchas veces the common cold. A cough, the flu, headache, stomach ache, sé que conocéis esos. Las únicas tres que realmente, o cuatro, ahora que lo pienso, que usamos ache, es headache, porque si no dices, my finger hurts, you wouldn't say I have a finger ache. So you would say, I have a headache, no H, ache, ache, ache. I have a headache, I have a stomach ache, I have a toothache, or I have a backache. Okay, esos valen con ache. Los demás, a lo mejor hay otro ejemplo, pero que se me ocurre. Another one. What happens when you swallow and it hurts? That's the worst. Cuando te duele al tragar. Well, maybe you have a sore throat. Maybe you have strep throat. Los strepsils. Aha. Strep throat is an infection in the throat, right? Another one. We never say in English, I have fever. We say, I have a fever. I have a fever. Or I'm feeling feverish. Or I have a temperature, right? That's another way of saying it. You can have a runny nose too. Usually when you have a runny nose, it means you're coming down with something, para usar el vocabulario. If you have a runny nose, you're coming down. Me estoy poniendo malo. I think I'm coming down with something. Also, some people can have skin irritation. You know what this is called? A rash. Sarpullido, I think you say. This is when your skin gets red and it's really itchy. Well, maybe you have an allergy to something, right? But it's called a rash. Nausea. I think you know that one. I'm feeling nauseous. El adjetivo es nauseous. El sustantivo es nausea. Sprain. You know this one? Esguince. I sprained my wrist. I sprained my ankle. Burn. Esto es quemadura. And then, as you know, we have 1st degree, 2nd degree, 3rd degree burns, if you want to get more specific. And I think the one that my daughter's got all over her body, and this is because they roll around and they play rough, bruises. Bruises. These are black and blues, moratones. You can say a bruise or a black and blue. So these are some of the common ailments, some of the basic ones that I think all of us at one time or another have had one of these, you know. What about a blister? There's one I left out. Blister ampolla. Oh, that's the worst. That's why you never bring new shoes when you're going to, when you're going on holiday or you're going to do sightseeing or going to Disney. It's not a good idea. You want to break them in. To break them in is estrenarlos bien. All right. Let's see. Laura says, let's have a bite to eat. Perfect. You can also say, let's grab a bite. You can say it with to eat or without. So you can say, let's grab a bite. Let's have a bite. Or to eat. Con to eat o sin to eat te vale. Great job. The next one, she says, I'm taking a cough syrup. Otra vez el no hace falta, a no ser que quieres especificar ese. I'm taking cough syrup. I'm taking aspirin. Right? I'm taking cold medicine. All right. And the next one, she says, I had a tomato and mozzarella salad for dinner last night. Caprese. Ensalata caprese. Yummy. I imagine you drizzled some extra virgin olive oil on it and a little bit of basil, albahaca. Hey, just saying the way I normally make it. Oh, man. Why did I ask about food? Why did I do it? All right, let's see. Open Waters. Open Water says, let's grab something to bite. Estás mezclando un poco ahí. So let's grab something to eat or let's grab a bite to eat. Right? You're mixing the two there. Or let's grab a bite sin el to eat. Pero something to bite no se diría esa estructura. O sea, una de las tres otras, pero has hecho como un híbrido ahí. All right? So let's grab a bite to eat. Let's grab something to eat. Let's grab a bite. Right? The next one. I have a cold and I'm taking cough syrup. It leaves my throat dry, so I have some water afterwards. And then he says, I had a salad for dinner last night. Hey, you guys are pretty healthy. Salmon, veggies, ensalada caprese, a salad. Yeah, great stuff, guys. Great. Chris Valrol participating in the pop quiz. She says, let's have a drink, guys. Otra vez, esto es tomar algo, pero solo de beber. Right? No significa que luego no puedes pedir un aperitivo. Pero si quieres dejarlo más abierto, do you want to grab something? You want to have something? Okay. You want to grab a bite to eat? Y eso ya engloba como, pues ya de paso tomas algo también. So let's have a drink, guys. Or let's have something, guys. The next one, I'm taking cough syrup. Excellent. And the last one, last night I had some bread and cheese and some nuts on the train. Good job, Chris. Anix says, let's have a beer. Again, you guys are being more specific, but it's fine. Al menos no has dicho take, porque yo tenía alumnos que me decían, Alberto, let's take a beer. And you know what I would always say? My answer was always the same. I would rather pay for it. Preferiría pagarlo. No quiero robarlo. So we take medicine, we have food and drink. Let's have a beer or let's have something. And this way, they can decide if they want water, coffee, or whatever else. Oh, they said tentempié is a snack. You know another way to say tentempié? A pick-me-up. I usually have an apple around 5 o'clock as a pick-me-up. Me levanta, tentempié, same thing. No, me da esa energía, me levanta. Let's see. The next one, she says, I'm taking cough syrup and I'm a bit under the weather. I hope it's not true, but great. And the last one, I had some veggies and steak for dinner last night. You guys are really making me hungry. And I got to say something. You guys eat nice dinners. All right, we've got to go to a quick commercial break, amigos. We'll be right back with the second half of today's show. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back. This is part 3, or the second half, however you want to split it up. And I thank you all for joining us here for another exciting edition of the show. I hope you're learning and laughing with us as always. Don't forget to listen to my buddy Kyle Miller in his program, Drive Time. You got Dave Boys as well, and I think both of those guys are going to be at the book fair. I don't know if it's this weekend or next weekend, but again, if you're following us on social media, you'll know. Richard, if I'm not mistaken, will be there on Sunday, this coming Sunday and the following Sunday. All the information is at grupovon.com, or if you're following us on social media, I'm sure they have already shared that information. So check it out. All right, folks, we're going to kick things off today in the second half of the show with our homophones. Then we're going to listen to our Say What soundbite. That'll be the third listen of the Say What soundbite. And then we're going to hear from you, my amigos, in our question of the week. We're going to hear from super students Anix, Chris Valrol, Nuria, Open Waters, and Elena. Plus music, movies, double trouble, jokes, and so much more. And we've got to squeeze it all in. But we will. We'll get it done. We'll step on it. Lo pisamos fuerte, amigos. It's time for Homophones on the Show with No Name.
Homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's homophones only on the show with no name. All right, our first word has quite a few meanings. The first one that comes to mente is mente. Casi lo digo. Hey, I caught myself. The first word is mente. Tu mente. Okay. También es, ¿te molesta? Si ¿me puedo sentar aquí? ¿Te molesta? Do you, right? ¿Te importa? ¿Te molesta? Also, it's ocuparse de, okay? I need you to ocuparte de tu comportamiento hoy, okay? Preocúpate, ocúpate de ello. Cuidar de también. It's quite a rich word. It's not just mente, right? Also, it's used in a structure. ¿Te importaría abrir otra botella de vino? So it's in that structure, te importaría as well. And then it's part of idiomatic expressions. Si en inglés decimos estoy en dos mentes, traducido al inglés, no lo voy a decir, significa que estoy indeciso, ¿no? No sé. So a very, very rich word there. And the second word is, minado, you would say in Spanish. Okay, minado. So como oro o plata, algo que está minado. Okay, extraído de la tierra. All right. Well, that second one doesn't have as many meanings as the first one. But those are your two words there, my amigos. A, are you familiar with them? B, do they sound exactly the same or not? Also, let me give you today's Say What soundbite. Here it is for the third time.
I watched it organically come to life and fruition from medical books with pictures of burn victims, which I could barely glance at. But I saw it in the mirror as we modified it and changed it and finally found Freddie.
¿Qué tiene que ver la Universidad de Oxford con Vaughan? Pues muchísimo. Es una alegría anunciar que Vaughan ha sido certificado como centro examinador de Oxford Test of English. A partir del próximo mes de marzo 2023, podrás hacer los exámenes de Oxford Test of English en los centros de Vaughan. Si quieres más información sobre esta iniciativa de Vaughan y Oxford, puedes ver más en nuestra página web, grupovaughan.com. O bien síguenos en redes sociales para más información. Oxford Test of English con Vaughan.
Brilliant!
That's right, folks. It is Oxford Test of English, and you can get it done at any of our centers. You can get it done in Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao, Vigo, Valladolid, Valencia, Santander, or Zaragoza. And if you want more information, just go to grupovon.com, contáctanos, or you can reach out via social media and somebody will be there to answer all your questions. All right, let's go on over to our chat room. We've got a lot of people participating in the Say What soundbite. Let's see what you guys heard. Anik says, I heard an American man, and it sounds like an interview. He's talking about medical issues, and he says something about bugs, viruses, and so on. All right. Well, the first part is correct. He is talking about medical issues, but there is no mention of bugs. No se menciona bichos. So that's another word that you're mishearing. But okay, good. Great. We're on the right track. Anix, we are on the right track. Let's see. Chris Valrol says, I heard an American actor. He got inspired by photos of burn victims. Hey, we were talking about ailments before. He got inspired by photos of burn victims for his character, Freddie. That's right. Exactly. How they got the inspiration for a famous character named Freddie. Now, I think everybody knows which Freddie we're talking about here. Freddy Krueger, right? All right. Let's see. Elena says, an American man stating having witnessed a bug coming to life and seeing appalling pictures he could barely glance at. Sin la D en glance ahí, that he could barely glance at. Yes, except for the bugs. There's no bugs. So that you're not. I'll tell you something. A couple people heard the word bugs in there, but nope. There's no bug in there. All right, let's see. Laura says, I heard an American man explain how he got the inspiration for a well-known horror movie character watching pictures of burnt victims he could barely glance at. Perfect. Elena's taken a stab at it, but Elena, I'm going to give you an applause for effort, but the word bugs is not in there. And it's bugging you guys. Ahora sí, the word bugs is really bugging you guys now. Ahora sí que os está molestando, fastidiando esta palabra. All right, Elena, good effort. But I want to know what that bugs word is, because it's definitely not bugs. All right, let's see. We've got some people participating in our homophones. Elena is the first one. She gives us the two words correctly, and she says they are homophones. Born to Iron Man agrees. Open Waters agrees. And Laura agrees. Chris Valrol agrees. Anix agrees. Whoa. So you're either unanimously right or unanimously wrong. Of course you're right. Trust yourselves. Excellent. So mind. Did you ever know that that word was so rich? Do you mind if I mind my own business? Toma double trouble. ¿Te importa si me ocupo de lo mío? Que estoy a mis asuntos. Acuérdate, una estructura muy polite, pero con mucho fallo, is would you mind? Muchos quieren decir, would you mind to open the window? ¿Te importaría abrir la ventana? Pero es, would you mind opening the window? So, y sé de dónde viene el error. ¿Te importaría abrir? Pues en inglés, abriendo. So write it down, because that's one of those ones que engaña. It's misleading, como vimos ayer la palabra engañoso. Tú crees que vas a ir por ahí, pero no. So would you mind? Another one we say too, do you mind? I'm trying to read. ¿Te importa? Right? You can say it in a rude way too, like, do you mind? I already told you to leave me alone. Right? Oh, no, I don't mind. No me importa. Okay? We know also now they use mindful, right? He's very mindful. All right? And the next word comes from the word mine, mina. And if we add a D, it's minado. So let me put them next to each other in a sentence. Do you mind that they mined in your backyard? Do you mind that they mined gold, por ejemplo, para poner algo, in your backyard? So excellent job, amigos. Wow. Really great job. All right, let's see. Laura's taken a stab at today's Say What soundbite. There's a tricky word in there that's not bugs. Let's see if she got it. Oh, man. I'm going to give you an applause. But, wow, that's a tough one, huh? It's not box. It's not bugs. I know. See, it's funny when I prepare this, a lot of times I'm like, it's easy, but then as it goes on, well, it's easy except for that word. So, all right, good. Hey, guys, you're not alone. The good news is it seems like that is the word that is throwing everyone off. So don't feel bad if you didn't get it, and you will know it by the end of the show. I don't want to give it to you yet, just to see if somebody can figure out the word after medical. So it's the word after medical, and it is not box, and it is not bugs. So something with a B. It's got to be something with a B, right? Y que acaba con ese. Lo que pasa es ese sonido vocal. All right, but don't worry. You're going to hear that another time in the fourth part of the show. But right now, it's time for today's question of the week.
Question of the week.
All right, question of the week time here on the show with no name. We all do wacky, crazy things in our adolescence, even younger and when we're older. It's not just in adolescence. Adolescence is where people, where people expect it more. Like, well, no, es un adolescente, right? But before, my daughter's pre-adolescent at 5. Okay. I'm telling you, I'm like, what do you mean? That's something a teenager would say. Dad, I need to be left alone for 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll be here cooking dinner whenever you need me. I'm like, whoa. So, but we all do crazy things. I mean, some people still do crazy things. As you get older, though, something happens. You start to say, wait, what need do I have to be acting crazy or doing crazy things? And when it's young, it's because I think a lot of times we don't think, we just do things, right? That's some childhood. In fact, a lot of times I think back at some of the things I did and I'm like, why? Why did I do that? I mean, that was not necessary, and that was a stupid idea and very risky at the same time. So, but as we said earlier in the week, there's one thing we can take from this: live and learn. No, mientras vamos viviendo, vamos aprendiendo. All right, let's hear from Anix.
Morning, Anix here. Well, I've been racking my brain and I can't figure out what my wildest thing at school was. I'm a goody two shoes, too prone to follow the rules, and I can't remember anything. But if there's something that I'm regret about, and if I had a second chance, I won't do it again. Maybe I won't be dating with the kind of jerk I was dating with. Okay, guys, pardon my French. Bye bye. Hey, Alberto, how you doing? Well, I just felt like recording this because I just want to thank you for your kind words. Week after week, you're encouraging me. I feel my English is getting better. I know there are a lot of work to do, but it helps. Your words mean to me more than you know, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so, so much. And well, I have to admit that I just recording this because I want to prove myself that I'm able to talk to you in English, even though I'm not able to do it face to face. I wish I could do it someday. Okay, Alberto, thank you a bunch. Bye bye.
Wow, Anix. Beautiful. Beautiful. Great job. Yeah, and she says, I regret, cuidado, dating with, no, saliendo con en inglés, I admit, I regret. Dijiste I'm regret. So, puedes decir I'm regretful, pero es mucho más fácil quitar el verbo ser o estar. I regret dating this jerk. Okay? Para simplificar. Entonces, el with no va ahí y el I'm no va ahí. So, I regret dating this jerk. Anix, I think everybody can say that. We've all had a relationship or fling, maybe not even a real, where you're like, oh my God, that guy was a jerk, or that girl was a jerk. She ignored. So that I think is, we all have that regret, I think, as well. Sometimes we don't have good judgment when we're younger, we go for people who reject us, right? And that's never going to work out, right? You can't make somebody like you. And that's something we learn as we get older, and it's freeing. I mean, te da la libertad de ser como eres después, right? So it's amazing. Anix, you sounded phenomenal. You use the expression, I'm racking my brain. You say, exprimiendo los sesos. She also used the totally native, I'm a goody two-shoes. Goody two-shoes. Mari cumple las reglas. I don't know if that's how you say it, pero más entendido perfectamente. A goody two-shoes, right? She always follows the rules. She's not a rebel of any sort. So great job, Anix. You expressed yourself better than I am right now. and I appreciate your feedback as well. As you guys saw, Anix was just, not only did she leave us her voice, and she did it all in under a minute. She left us her opinion and also just wanted to send a special shout out. And thank you, Anix. You sound great and you're doing it the right way. I wouldn't change a thing. Well, those little things I just said, but you catch my drift. Wonderful job, Anix. And you can tell, se nota, you can tell that Anix has been participating week after week because she's getting better and better. Another student who does that as well, Chris Valrol.
Morning, Shenanimers. It's Chris Valrol. It was my junior year. I was 17. It was Carnival, and we were performing a play. Our teachers when they were children. Since We were a bit nervous and someone brought cava. We drank. Not much, but I hadn't had much breakfast and I'm a lightweight, I'm afraid. I ended up very dizzy in the teacher's lounge, drinking a coffee with salt my math teacher brought me. He was really surprised because I usually behaved myself.
You were a goody two shoes.
I spent the entire play tipsy at the back of the stage, trying to pull myself together. Thank goodness I only had one line. Thank you. Bye bye.
Rule number 1, drinking and performing don't mix. Do not drink if you have to perform in front of a group. Oh, yeah. Well, Chris, live and learn. Chris is like, you can guarantee the next time I had a performance or a speech or had to give a speech at a wedding or a presentation, I did not have a drink or two beforehand. So great job, Chris. You made me laugh out loud. Let's see, a couple things. You were in your junior year. Muy bien que te sabes eso, because we've got, remember, freshman, primer año. Esto es de high school y universidad, ambos. You can say I'm a freshman in college, pues ya está. So, o del contexto, si estás en universidad hablándolo, saben que no es de instituto. So freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior. Senior es el cuarto año. So she was in her junior year, which is around the year, at least when I started experimenting with, some alcohol. And she said they drank some brut. You call it cava. We call the champagne that's not champagne, that's not from the Champagne region, we call it brut, right? And she drank on an empty stomach. So another rule, Chris, you broke a lot of cardinal rules that day. Seriously, drinking before a presentation, drinking on an empty stomach, but lesson learned, it seems. And she says also, if you add that she's a lightweight, que no tiene mucho aguante, well, she was tipsy, como dijo, un poco borrachilla, a little tipsy, and she had to pull herself together. Great vocabulary. Organizarse, como ponerse bien. Excellent job to Anix and Chris Valrol. Let's hear from Nuria.
Alberto and Seguino Namers, this is Nuria once again. Regarding this week's question, what's the wackiest thing I did in school? Well, I must come clean that the first thing that comes to my mind was when we were in a biology lesson, and we had to look inside certain Bibles, as well as small amphibians. As someone who has always been incapable of killing a fly, you can imagine how crazy that was for me. In spite of all the time that has passed, I still remember the smell and the anguish of having to dissect those poor creatures. That's not my cup of tea, Thank you. Take care, amigos.
Oh man, yeah, that was crazy. I remember that too. I remember that day vividly, that we had, in my case, we had to dissect a frog. And first thing I thought, I was in high school myself, was when on God's earth am I going to take apart a frog? Why do I need to know the parts of a frog? Maybe I'm a marine biologist. Maybe I work at a zoo, but if not, so I think a lot of that, I don't know if they still do dissection, but I still, do you want to know something? It's crazy, Nuria. I still remember that smell. And the crazy thing about Nuria's craziest thing is something that she was made to do. She didn't have a choice. Like me, you had to do it. So, oh man, that is the worst. And you used some really good vocabulary. You said, I have to come clean. To come clean is admitirlo. And she used an idiomatic expression that I love. And the expression is, I wouldn't hurt or I wouldn't kill a fly. Normalmente es hurt. Oh, Pablo, he wouldn't even hurt a fly. Ni siquiera haría daño a una mosca. Significa que es incapaz de matar a un animal, de maltratar. So somebody who is harmless would be a good a good adjective. Harmless, como se dice harmless? I know harmful is dañino, inocuo, right? No, inofensivo si hablamos de persona. And the expression we use is, she wouldn't hurt a fly. So what can I say except wonderful job, Anix, Chris Valrol, and Nuria. Now, in just a minute, we need to take another commercial break, our fourth and final commercial break. The good news is, after the commercial break, what we're going to do is we'll look at our double trouble. I'll give you the say what soundbite for the fourth time, and hopefully somebody can get that mystery word. And then we'll hear from Open Waters, Elena. We've got movies, we've got music. We have got a lot of stuff to cover in the fourth and final part of today's show. And I can only say I am so proud. If you guys participate every week, and you know who you are, we know who you are, because you're participating, in a public space. A lot of people are hearing your voice. No pressure. But I can tell you that each and every one of you, I have heard your progress. And I hope, my only wish is that you're feeling it too. That you're feeling more confident. That you're saying, I can fucking do this. I can express myself in English. So what if I say people is? I'll correct it or not. Maybe they understood me, right? But the importance, the thing that nobody can take from you, ever, and I tell my daughter the same thing, your confidence. Be confident. Why? Because you're doing much more than many other people as far as learning a language. So just that should make you speak with confidence. Folks, we'll be right back with the fourth and final part of today's show. So stick around. Hey amigos, welcome back. I can't believe it. This is part 4 of today's show. Oh my God. Thank you, really. I mean, this 2-hour show flies by for me. And I hope it flies by for you too. The only problem is, when it flies by, you're like, that's it. Well, just remember this. When the show with no name started on Vaughn Radio, some 15 years ago, geez Louise, it lasted an hour. Duró una hora. And then Richard Vaughn, I remember he said to me, he goes, you need 2 hours. You got a lot to say. I'm like, oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I talk a mile a minute. I'm not one of those teachers that talks like this because it's not in me. No me sale. No lo llevo dentro. I talk the way I normally talk. And I think that's the best for you too. I try not to use English teacher English. That's why I'm always trying to use these totally native expressions too, to instill them, inculcarlos en vosotros. If you hear it enough, como stick around, ¿qué alumno mío no sabe stick around? No te muevas, quédate ahí. Pues ¿por qué? Porque lo has oído 1000 veces. Ahora tenemos que hacer eso con todos los otros phrasal verbs. All right, amigos, let's kick things off with today's double trouble. Yeah.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double Double trouble. I said double trouble.
All right, folks, today's double trouble. I think it's an easy one, honestly. And a lot of you were talking about, well, Chris Valrol, you talked about una obra de teatro. Well, wow, that was not planned. That was not planned. All right, here we go. Producir obras de teatro no es pan comido. No es algo fácil. That's it. Ahí tienes el double trouble. You've got to use the same word twice, as always. Well, unless it's a triple trouble. So, producir obras de teatro no es pan comido. No es algo fácil, necesariamente. All right, there you go. A ver cómo lo traducen. Yo creo, no es pan comido, no es juego de niños, no está chupado. I love that one. It's not sucked. So there you go. Poniendo, you can say poniendo, produciendo obras de teatro no es pan comido. All right, that's your double trouble. Good luck. We'll see if you guys can figure it out. Also, let me give you today's Say What soundbite. Here it is for the fourth time. Are you ready? Here we go.
I watched it organically come to life and fruition from medical books with pictures of burn victims, which I could barely glance at. But I saw it in the mirror as we modified it and changed it and finally found Freddie.
¿Quieres estar al tanto de todas nuestras promociones en la Vaughan Esfera? Well, now you can be in the loop. Puedes estar al tanto. Puedes enterarte de ofertas, novedades y eventos. Y mucho más. Puedes encontrar todo eso en grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. Eso es, en grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. Ahí tendrás toda la información de última hora. Guárdalo como favorito. grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. And stay in the loop.
That's right, amigos. Stay in the loop. Manteneros al día. If not, you're out of the loop. I love it when they make sense like that. I'm out of the loop. No me entero de nada. I'm in the loop. Estoy al tanto. Makes sense. In it or out of it. Okay, y acuerda, out of, lo decimos muchas veces, outa. Oh, come on, get out of here, man. No, out of. All right, you got your Say What soundbite. Let's see if anybody gets that tricky word that keeps throwing everybody off. And let's take a look at our double trouble as well. Let's see. The first one to take a stab at it is Elena, and she says, putting up plays. Normally we say to put on a play, but I like that you didn't say produce, because you can say producing plays, blah, 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 blah. But you can also say la forma más nativa, to put on a play, because you're putting it on stage. Piénsalo, lo pones en escenario. So putting on plays is not a play in the park. No, you're mixing a couple things there. We do have an expression that's, it's not a walk in the park, pero entonces no nos cuadra ahí. So putting on plays is not a play in the park. Elena, good effort. You're mixing a couple things there, though. Let's see. Laura, she says, to produce plays is not children's play. The only thing I've never heard it as children's play. Of it. Children's play. I've always heard it as child's play. Children's play. No, me lleva a child's play. All right, so unless you can check with your British teachers, in the United States, we don't say children's play. We say, because a children's play es una obra de teatro de niños, para niños. So child's play, que es la película con Chucky, el muñeco, right? Child's play. Tiene el doble sentido, el juego de niños, right? So child's play, the movie, and the idiomatic expression, which means something that's easy, that doesn't require much effort. So, all right, we've got to, and Laura, I would say producing plays, right? In English, producir, obras de teatro. Producing plays is not children's play. All right, we're on the right track here, but nobody's given me the perfect one yet. Open Waters, producing plays is not children's play. The only thing is, it's not children's play, it's child's play. Veo que, claro, cambiarle el nombre a Chucky, el muñeco ese, pues habéis perdido el child's play. Y la frase célebre, I'm Chucky, wanna play? I'm Chucky, wanna play? So let's see. Anybody? Producing plays is not children. All right, well, the correct answer, great effort, everyone. Putting on plays is not child's play. No es pan comido. No es algo fácil. To put on plays. All right, excellent job. Let's see, Chris Valrol. She's taken a stab. 3 people have already, in fact, ladies, excellent. But nobody has gotten that word yet. Madre de Dios. So we said bugs. We said box. We said blogs. But nobody has said the word yet. Ooh, this is probably one of the most confusing because everybody's got the rest. It's just that one word. So it's not the most confusing say what we've ever looked at. It's the most confusing word we've ever looked at in a say what soundbite. Well, excellent job putting on plays. And I've heard people say, he's in a theater play. No hace falta la palabra theater. Es como decir swimming pool. Es pool, right? So he's in a play, right? They're putting on a play, and it isn't child's play. Elena says bucks. Nope, it's not bucks either. Babos. Oh my God, this word seems impossible. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you some time to think about it as we hear from Open Waters in our question of the week.
Hi, friends. I remember in high school, once I had an English exam where we were asked to write an article. I can't recall exactly what it was about, but I completely plagiarized the Guns N' Roses song Paradise City. You know, the part that goes, take me down to the Paradise City where the grass is green and the girls are pretty, and I mixed it with parts of other Pink Floyd songs. I remember the teacher was so impressed with my article that I got an A+. The problem came afterwards when she decided to read it at a meeting before the whole high school. I estimate there were about 600 people there. She started off like, I want to read you something a student wrote, and it's something of such beauty and quality, blah, blah. When she began to read it, almost everyone recognized the lyrics and began to laugh. First quietly, then louder and louder, until at one point, the laughter completely interrupted the reading. The poor teacher was totally thrown off and unaware of what was happening. But then another teacher who had been holding back his laughter whispered something in her ear, and she began to turn red-faced. At that moment, I was wishing the earth to swallow me up. The teacher changed the A+ to a fail and took me to see the principal. And that's it. Okay, see you, friends.
The best part, Open Waters. You thought you got away with it. Pensaste que te saliste ileso, no? You thought you got away with it. You're like, yes, awesome. And then the teacher read it in front of the whole class, in front of the whole school, and you knew one of the teachers or one of the other students was gonna be like, hey, that's a Guns N' Roses song and Pink Floyd lyrics mixed together. Great story. Me recuerda a Scooby-Doo. And I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for you meddling kids. Y hubiese salido ileso si no fuese por esos niños intrusos. Great. I think I've got to say, Chris Valrol, your story was my favorite up until now, but I think this one takes the cake. Although I must say, they're all very, very funny stories. All right, let's hear our last participant. It's Elena.
Hi, Elena here. Well, on this one, I must admit I was Miss Goody Two-Shoes at school, never got into trouble. My sister and I used to be so scared to open our mouths that we would just keep quiet. But there was this troublemaker who once realized that one American teacher who came to read us stories in English. He used to really get into the part and, played it out frenetically. So what he would do is he would lean on this friend's desk and perform his story. So he would rub his pelvis against the edge of the desk frenetically without even noticing. Well, to make the story short, this friend of mine came up with the idea of painting the edge of the desk with a red marker. So that day, the teacher came, and as usual, he leaned against the desk and rubbed his pelvis on it. So when the poor man finished his class and moved away, he had his fly all covered in red as he had his period or something like that. Everyone was in stitches. And it was hilarious. And oh God, it was just so good. Bye.
Elena, you are a prankster, una bromista. I love it, though. They painted with a marker, they painted the corner of the table red, and it ended up on the teacher. Well, that's weird, though. The teacher rubbing himself against a table? I don't know. Maybe he deserved it. Oh, man. If I told you guys all the pranks I pulled when I was in school, man. All right, well, I can only say one thing. Excellent. Excellent job to all of you. You sounded freaking great. And for that, I'm taking you to the movies. Name that movie. Yes. All right, my amigos. Here we go. This is today's Name That Movie. Let's see if you can figure it out. A kids show host, Rainbow Randolph, is fired in disgrace while his replacement, Sheldon Mopes, a.k.a. Smoochie the Rhino, finds himself a rising star. Unfortunately for Sheldon, the business of kids' television isn't at all child's play. O sea, no es pan comido. It isn't child's play. Get out of here. Sí, lo he hecho aposta. Okay, so a kids show host, presentador de programa de niños, Rainbow Randolph, is fired in disgrace. Disgrace is te vas con la cabeza abajo. Disgrace, it's not desgracia, vergüenza. Yeah, desgracia, deshonor. Yeah. So yeah, it is similar in some ways there. And he's fired, echado, in disgrace, while his replacement, el que le reemplaza, Sheldon Mopes, a.k.a., also known as Smoochie the Rhino, and smooch is un beso. So Smoochie the Rhino is short for rhinoceros. It also stands for Republican in name only. Okay, alguien que dice, soy republicano. Yeah, pero todas tus cosas son de demócrata, right? So Rhino. Y tenemos Dino también, Democrat in name only, que yo voto demócrata, pero no tengo nada, right? So, Smoochie the Rhino finds himself a rising star. Unfortunately for Sheldon, the business of kids' television isn't at all child's play. All right, let's take a look. Now, if the kids are with you, cover their ears. This one's not for kids, okay? I didn't write the movie, but the movie is not made for kids. Even though it's about kids' television, it kind of talks about the weird stuff that happens behind the scenes. In fact, if you want to see how weird kids' television is, there's a documentary on YouTube about Nickelodeon, and it'll make you want to vomit. Like, it's not good. Not good. I would never let my child work on a TV show or in Hollywood. Sorry. I don't care if she's the most talented person in the world, not going around those vultures. All right. So let's take a look. Again, earmuffs. If you've got the kids with you, cover their ears. So Smoochie holds up a penis-shaped cookie, una galleta con forma de pene, made by Randolph. And Randolph says, "What, are you blind? It's a cock. Es una polla. It's not a rocket, you sick fuck. And you sick fuck estás mal de la cabeza, estás enfermo, ¿no? Ese enfermo. You sick fuck. Estás mal, ¿no? Estás perturbado. He goes, it's a cock. Look, it's a cock and balls. He goes, a dick. Eso vimos la semana pasada, gracias a nuestro amigo Born to Iron Man. He goes, chorizo and huevos. That's what he says. No, te lo leo como es. It's a big stiffy. A stiffy is a hard-on, an erection, a boner. It's a penis, penis maximus. A willy, otra forma de decir pene. A weenie, otra forma de decir pene. Mr. Jiggle Daddy. Jiggle es moverse de un lado para otro. The One-Eyed Wonder Weasel, la comadreja de un ojo de maravilla. The One-Eyed Wonder Weasel. Don't you see that? It's Jimmy and the twins. Rumple Foreskin. En vez de Rumpelstiltskin, Rumple Foreskin, prepucio. He made this. It's made from dildo. You get it? Dill is eneldo and dough is masa, pero dildo. All right, the movie is called Death to Smoochie. It came out in 2002, and it stars Robin Williams, Ed Norton, Catherine Keener. I mean, we're talking about some of the greatest actors out there, and it's directed by Danny DeVito. All right, amigos, time for some jokes.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, what did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch. Ouch. You get it? Ouch. He walked into the bar. You're joking.
All right, folks. Well, here are some jokes for you. Let's see. Minors get a bad rap. Minors no menores de edad. Eso sería M-I-N-O-R-S. Esto es M-I-N-E-R-S. Suenan igual. So minors, mineros, get a bad rap. No, tienen mala publicidad, mala reputación. But deep down in their core, they're really nice folks. In their core. Bueno, en su núcleo, en su profundidad, pero también the core of the planet, el centro, el núcleo, en su núcleo. In their core. Okay, all right. All right, I got another one for you. What did the lady think of the tramp? La dama del vagabundo. What did the lady think of the tramp? That he was a diamond in the rough. Que era un diamante en bruto, pero rough. All right. And the last one, why didn't anyone trust the miners? Otra vez, no los menores, sino los mineros. Why didn't anybody trust the miners? Well, they were always shafting people. Shaft is the part of the mine, the hole, right? El hueco is the shaft, the mine shaft. But also to shaft somebody is joderles, engañarles. So why can't you trust miners? Because they're always shafting people. Otra vez, shaft el agujero, pero shaft también dársela, metérsela. Okay. Hey, I'm just telling you the idea behind the words. All right, we're going to move on, though, to today's famous birthday trivia.
Famous birthdays for you. Famous birthdays for me. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. Birthdays for him. Famous birthdays for her. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. Famous birthdays. Let's step on it. Number one. This person was born today in 1954, and this American actor talks like this. He's from New York, and he's got a very... I'm going to ruin my voice talking like that. Well, anyway, he was in Hairspray. He was in Mrs. Doubtfire. He was in Independence Day. He was also in Death to Smoochie. Today's Name That Movie. That's number one. Also very famous for plays, obras de teatro. He's won Tony Awards, lo más alto en el teatro. Speaking of putting on plays. Number two, this American soul singer was born today in 1936. He was the lead vocalist of the Four Tops. The Four Tops have some of the greatest songs ever, such as Sugar Pie Honey Buns. You know that I love you. I can't help myself. And also Reach Out, I'll Be There. The Four Tops, top of the pops, lo más de lo más. And this guy was the most famous one. And last but not least, he played Freddy Krueger. Okay, he's been in many, many other movies, but in Pesadilla en la Calle Olmo, yeah, well, that's Nightmare on Elm Street, he played the one and only, the craziest, scariest, one of the scariest characters, at least from my childhood, the crazy burn victim, Freddy Krueger. All right, let me give them to you because we do not have time. We've got to fly through this. Number one, Harvey Firestein. Very talented. Y si le ves la cara, dices, claro, este tío. Chris, you got it. Good job. Harvey Firestein, Levi Stubbs, que crack. And last but not least, Robert Englund, who's not from England. He's from the United States. And this is him talking about Freddy Krueger, about creating the character, as many of you figured out. He says, so I watched it organically come to life and fruition from medical books, libros médicos, from medical books with pictures of burn victims, which I could barely glance at. Apenas pude mirar un segundo. But I saw it in the mirror as we modify it and changed it and finally found Freddy. Here he is, Robert Englund.
I watched it organically come to life and fruition from medical books with pictures of burn victims, which I could barely glance at. But I saw it in the mirror as we modified it and changed it and finally found Freddy.
All right, folks, that applause is for you. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. We are going to say goodbye with one of the greatest songs ever written, ever sung. And it's the Four Tops and Sugar Pie Honey Bunch. Sing it with me. Come on. Sugar Pie Honey Bunch. You know I love you. I can't help myself. I love you and nobody else. Honey Bunch. You know that I love you. Come on. I can't help myself. Sing it. I love you and nobody else.